Kids today don't realize that if you're wilding out on these streets, you're gonna wind up at this place right here. This is Queens House, Queens Central Booking, whatever you wanna call it, jail. Now this video is gonna have adult language. If you don't wanna hear all the cursing, don't watch this video. I gotta speak plainly for this one. I did a lot of dumb shit in my life trying to be somebody I wasn't. And I was lucky, by God's grace, never to have to go to jail. Until my 30s for something ridiculous, I'll tell you at the end. I wish somebody would have described what jail was like. Maybe I wouldn't have did so many stupid things. So if you know somebody young wildin', maybe they need to see this. So after you get caught, your day is gonna begin at your precinct. Depending upon how cool you're gonna be is how fast they're gonna process your paperwork. They're gonna take all your personal possessions off of you, and they're gonna take your shoelaces so you don't strangle yourself in the cell. Now if they're in a bad mood, they don't like you, or you just not being cool, they're gonna process your paperwork mad slow. Why is that important? Because the quicker you get to central booking, you have a better chance seeing the judge and not spending the night. If you're lucky and you got caught in the daytime, they'll process your paperwork and you'll be out there in 2 hours. Next, they're either gonna put you on a van or on a bus, and they're gonna drive you to the back of this building. You're gonna go down there in that basement and you're gonna go through that door, and you're not gonna have a good time. If you got locked up on a Friday, you're probably gonna be down for the weekend and won't see a judge till Monday. When you get inside, there's gonna be a couple of big cells. You're gonna be in there with like 40 people waiting to get your mugshot and your fingerprints done. This is when the real fun begins. You're gonna go down the hall and you're gonna go through a door. This is when you start the process and you're gonna go to that first jail cell. Once you go through that door, the first thing you're gonna notice is the smell. The smell is overwhelming. It's the worst smell that you're ever gonna smell in your life. It smells worse than any zoo that you can think of. You also notice how crazy the COs are talking to everybody. They're talking to you like you're a piece of shit, like you're worse than a dog, like your life don't matter and it will never matter. You notice there's a string of cells going straight down the hallway, and you see the process is, if you cool, they call you, you go to the next cell, closer and closer to seeing the judge. If you're not cool, they'll take you back a cell. And if you're really not cool, they'll take you all the way back to the precinct, and you have to start all the way from the precinct and come all the way back. Now you look around and you realize there's only one toilet, and it's directly in the middle of the cell with no protection. It's completely overflowing with shit. Shit all around the toilet, all over the floor. There's shit on the walls. People are wiping their hands because there's no toilet tissue and wiping it on the wall. Then for lunch, they bring out expired milk with cereal and expired cheese sandwiches. Then you realize you're surrounded by murderers, people that just killed somebody. And then you got somebody that's wanting to be a fake lawyer telling people how long they're gonna be in jail for. You finally move out that first cell, and now you can breathe a little bit better. And you might be able to make your first phone call. But of course, that doesn't last long because somebody somehow stashed a crack pipe and crack in their ass, and they're smoking it in the cell with you. Now the COs run down on him, they put hands and feet on him, now he gotta go back to the precinct. Now you know if he had a crack pipe up his ass, you know people had shanks up their ass. I'm not gonna front, I just wanted to get the fuck up out of there, man. And no, I wasn't scared. I was too mad to be scared. Saw a couple fights, nothing crazy, they didn't last too long. I was just like, let me mind my business, do my time, and get out of here. A 16-year-old kid came in that day, he just murdered somebody, and he went directly to his own cell, and then he went and saw the judge before all of us, man. That pissed off everybody. At some point, somebody had to go to the bathroom, and he had to beg the COs to go to a cell that was across the hall that was away from us, so he wouldn't have to bother us with it, man. Can you imagine how it feels to beg another man to be able to have privacy to use the bathroom? Now you get to another cell that has a couple of cubbies. There's less people in this cell. This is when you're going to talk to your public defender. They're going to talk to you about your case and let you know if you're getting out. For me, she said plead guilty and you'll get out with time served if you see the judge tonight. So now time's ticking. I've been in central booking since 12:30, so now it's getting late. The people are telling me the judge is going to see the last person out at 11:30 or 12. Time is ticking. Am I going to see the judge tonight? I finally get to the last cell, and lo and behold, it's 11:15, and they picked the last wave of people to go see the judge. I tell you no lie, I was the last person the judge seen that night. One more person in front of me, I would have to spend the night on that dirty cell floor. I wouldn't wish this experience on anybody I know. It was the worst day of my life. Being talked to and treated like a piece of garbage and being fed worse than a dog, it just ain't for me. And if you have a more serious offense, then you're probably gonna have to go here, Rikers Island. When I saw the judge, I pleaded guilty. She said time served and I was free to go. I found out later that the city made about $2,000 off of me for that couple of hours. My fine would have probably been like $2, so the city probably made $2,000 profit off of putting me in jail for a day. So why was I in there in the first place? So about 10 years ago, I remember the city was getting rid of stop and frisk. I was at Jamaica Center about to pick up some money, and I noticed a bunch of cops on the platform, but I didn't pay them no mind. So I get on the back of the U-train, and I need to get to the front car. So I just walk through the cars like I normally do. Walk through the car door, and the cops pull me off. And that's the reason why I had to spend a full day in Central Booking. Could have lost my life in there, man. Yo, it's people that was in Central Booking that just was like, yo, I just want to go home. And what they meant by home was Rikers Island, because they can have their own bed and their own toilet when they get there. But in Central Booking, you just all together on one toilet and no bed, no sheets, no nothing, just that dirty, smelly floor. So nobody wants that environment. Nobody should have to go through that. So if you locked up, hold your head, I see you. Shout out to the fair COs, not the ones that act like dickheads. So if you don't mind being treated like an animal, then jail is the place for you.